Hello, 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 everybody. It's your girl Ashley, the amateur expert, coming to you live for this episode of Talk Tuesday. Super excited to have you here with us today. We are going to be talking to my sis, your coach, your mentor, your everything that you need, Tonya Bolden-Ball. Hello, hello. Thank you for being with us. Can't wait for Tonya to join us. If this is your first time here, we are going to talk career, success, tips, and motivators. I truly believe that when you share your story, you inspire others. And Tanya's story is incredibly inspirational. Hello, hello, hello. Let's see if we can get Tonya on the line. Hello, Kelly. Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I see my Ween sisters in here. Gigi's in here. I see some love in here. Oh, I see the one and only Brent. Oh, hold on, hat. Okay, sis.
Child, look, it was one of those days.
Okay,
Didn't have
sis.
time to grab a curling on, and I don't even own a wig. But I own hats.
You look great. You look great. You look great.
Hey,
Welcome. Welcome to the Amateur Expert Podcast. Thank you so much for being here as my guest for the second time.
yes,
Actually, as a matter of fact, you have made appearance 3 times because I don't know if you
really.
recall. Yes, so we had you on as your own special segment on uh, how can I get on the Essence main stage? That was the first one.
That's right. I forgot.
And then after we interviewed the one, the only FL, Sarah Dix Roberts, you hopped on the
Whew,
call. I don't know if you recall
I
that time.
forgot about that. Yes,
So this
yes,
is your
yes.
third time making an appearance on live, but this is the time that we're going to talk about your story and we're going to
Whew.
allow everyone to be inspired by you. So I want to jump right in because I want to respect your time, but also it's the versus tonight, and so I don't know how people are going to be feeling.
Who
Uh,
who's who's battling tonight?
I keep saying Charlene, but not Charlene. Anthony Hamilton and
Oh,
Music Soul Child.
oh yeah, we gonna get through
We're
this.
gonna
Yeah,
fly through this one. Okay,
yeah.
great. All right, Tonya. Hello, welcome to the Amateur Expert Podcast. We are so happy to have you as a guest today. Tonya, please introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and what you are doing currently for work.
So I am the one and only, let me stop. I am Tonya Bolden-Ball. Greetings from the great state of Louisiana, where it's warm and hot for Christmas all at the same time. I currently serve twofold. Regional Director of Diversity and Inclusion for one of the largest healthcare systems in this area. And I'm also the owner of the TBB Collective. Yes, Collective. That encompasses my public speaking, my life coaching, and my community consulting. So,
I
I do a little
love it.
bit.
I love it. I love a multi hyphenate, and you've got a whole bunch of them. Okay, so tell me this: when you were a little girl, Tonya, what did you want to be when you grew up, and what was the motivating factor behind that?
When I was a little girl, because I'm Mississippi born, Louisiana raised, I knew I wanted to be in charge of something.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you what. At one time, I thought I was going to be a teacher. I
Mhm.
wanted to be a teacher, follow my mom's footsteps, and I realized that turned out to be a big lie because no, dealing with other people's kids on it, no. So I love kids, but not to nurture them in that way. But I knew I wanted to be a boss. I knew that I was going to be in charge of something because it was, I was that kid on the playground. Come on, y'all, we're going to play dodgeball. Living in Holy Family Apartments. It's time to play kickball. Let's do something. And I realized, not knowing that God was already pouring in me and stirring up in me my gifts and
Mhm.
talents to lead.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
I love that. Okay, boss lady. So when you were also sort of in that same headspace, what did success look like
Oh, gosh. Success for me looks like accomplishing what
when
I
you were
said.
a little girl?
Oh, little girl,
Yeah.
not getting in trouble. So I was a kid. I was the kid. So I'm dating myself, aging myself. We had paper report cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
And every 6 weeks, it was always a great student, smart, but talks constantly. Like I knew I was going to get in trouble for parent teacher conference because of my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
like I told my mom, no, I said I was just practicing. I was just practicing. So had the gift again. I just love talking, running my mouth, connecting with people, and look how that's turned out now.
Wonderfully, wonderfully. Okay, so you started to share, and I cut you off, but I will let you finish. My apologies. What is success for you today?
Whew, today, that it has success for me has a different meaning, Ash. For me, success is even though the outcome may not be what I hadn't envisioned for it to be or to become, just trying. That's success for me.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, especially we as women and women of color particularly, we've been taught and conditioned to not take that step of faith,
Mm-hmm.
having that mindset of everything has to be in place in order to take that step of faith. But I'm in that mindset of, you know what? Just do it. Try it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why not? So for me, success is taking that first step. Now, if it all lines up, falls together, then that's really a successful outcome. But for me, it's trying.
Yeah.
And I refuse to be defined by geographical boundaries. So yes, I'm Mississippi born, Louisiana raised. Louisiana, I love my state, but there's so much out there beyond the space that I'm in. So that's another form of success for me, stepping beyond my comfort zone.
I love that. Well, we're waiting for you to step into the great state of California, but more on that later. So tell me this,
I'll come
Tonya.
now.
Oh, we know you'll be here. So tell me this. So you wanted to be a teacher, so you thought at one point when you were younger. How did you get to be this person, this entrepreneur, this DEI boss? Like, what was that journey like for you?
My career, actually, when I take a So, it's always been about at the core of everything I've done, even from working in retail for a short time. Ooh, and I say very short time. It's always been about helping others,
Mm-hmm.
serving others. So, did I grow up saying I wanted to own my own business? No, but I know now that there's nothing like being the driver of your own bus.
Mm-hmm.
So even in D&I, I never envisioned being in D&I. My background has always been nonprofit, social service, and education. And here I am advocating, but I'm a fighter. I'm a disruptor. I'm an advocate. So why not get into that space
Yeah.
and create seats at the table for people? But not only that, I'm in the position where not just, my professional career, but personal from a mentoring perspective, teaching women in particular, stop being satisfied with just a seat at the table. We have to, especially now with so many things at our feet, we have to learn how to, get the seat at the table. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Learn how the menu has been drafted. But once you do that, learn how to build your own table. But when you build your own table, you have to be mindful of who you invite to have a seat at your own table. You can't
Uh-oh.
invite everybody.
Uh-oh.
Everybody can't. Everybody. I mean, let me sip this decaf coffee. Hold on.
Mm, mm. Take a sip, girl,
Every,
because I feel like you're bringing some heat.
but that's true. We often I have this thing when I eat, my people eat, but everybody's not in my space
Mm-hmm.
to partake of that. And we just have to be very careful. You have to be careful of your dreams and your visions because not everybody wants you to win,
Yeah.
period. Especially when you're doing something new, unheard of, unprecedented. People get a little, perturbed, like, how dare she? How dare she? You can't see in my office, but I have a space on my little mini library dedicated to Michelle Obama, like all her books, because that's my Black girl magic. And then to the left of me, I'm about to start reading this book by Fannie Lou Hamer because I feel like I'm a product of her. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just so much. I know I said a mouthful. I'm sorry.
No, but like I need to take a second to digest it. I am digesting. That was that like I guess as Shatina said, that's a whole word.
Let the church say
Wow.
amen.
Wowzers. I'm about to put on my ushering gloves in a second and pass the plate. Whew. Okay. So, mm, build your
You're
table.
about to ask me something. I already know
Build your
because you
table,
have
but
that.
not everybody can sit at the table.
with what
Yeah,
once you build your table. Okay.
because everybody's not going to understand your menu.
Mhm. Mm.
And see that, and this is what I spoke about in 2019 at Essence, getting a seat at the table, but also when you get your seat, learn how the table has been built. That means networking, listening to conversations, putting yourself in spaces that may make you slightly uncomfortable, but
Mhm.
pay attention to those conversations. And once you get a little bit of all of the above, then start to put together your own blueprint. But when you're putting together your own blueprint, you can't be afraid of failure, because failure is a great teacher because it teaches you what not to repeat. If I know the stove is hot and I touched it, I'm not touching the stove again,
I hope not.
period. But sometimes we got to get burned a couple of times in order to get the lesson.
Once or twice.
So, but I've been burned a few times. I had to get that lesson. It was put on repeat, but that's life.
Tonya, okay. Okay. We're learning lessons. We are building tables.
Building tables.
I want to know, this isn't one of the normal questions, but I want to know,
I'm not surprised.
from you specifically, how do you take up space, right? Especially when imposter syndrome is coming in. So you're at the table and you're uncomfortable. How do you coach yourself to take up space in that moment when you feel like you shouldn't be there?
I know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I know who I am. Even though I may be sitting at the table and the person sitting next to me is kind of pissed off that I'm sitting at the table
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, I'm still going to own that space.
Yeah.
And that's when you get a sense of knowing who you are and whose you are. That fearfully and wonderfully made is not a cliche. The word says we're fearfully and wonderfully made. I truly believe that. So by believing that, regardless of because the fact I became a mom at the age of 18, regardless of the fact that I had to ride the city bus to college, I still truly believe till this day, and I'm about to walk into chapter 48. I'll turn 48 in October.
Where?
I Girl, good black don't crack. This is the product of Noxzema and some good water. But anyway, understanding that I'm supposed to, and right above my head, y'all can't see it, is Jeremiah 29:11. I'm supposed to have that prosperity.
Mm-hmm.
I'm within those, embedded in those plans. My name is in those plans. So when moments come where I'm like the wow and the awe, because sometimes it happens, I'll be like, God, you wait, what? I'll be in awe, really. I have to remind myself, not because I'm so good, and grace and mercy grants me the opportunity each day to be in those spaces, and I take it and run with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Amen. No, that is the truth. That is the truth. That is the truth. Okay. So back to one of the original questions. What is something that you know now, Tonya, that you wish you had known sooner in your journey?
The value of time.
And what do you mean when you say that?
I've wasted a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
I've wasted a lot of time with not attempting, not trying, thinking that it's going to always be there, such as opportunities, thinking that my gifts and talents will always bring me into those spaces. And that's not always the case. So I wish I would have learned the lesson of, taking care of the money, yes, but being protective of time and the use of it.
Mm-hmm. No, that's good. I do feel though, so I always wrestle with time because I feel like God has got my life mapped out, right? He's got
Right.
he knows the plans. So did he know that I was gonna stumble and it was gonna take me longer to get to this point? But also, if I didn't stumble, right, could I have actualized what he had for me sooner? So that's always something that I wrestle with. I'm like,
Girl, you
God,
preaching too. Let me sit back. You come on. Let the
that is
church
something.
say amen.
That is
Amen.
something that I always wrestle with. But I appreciate you sharing that. How do you motivate yourself just in life, right? So you have a 9 to 5 and you have a 5 to whenever because you do not sleep, and
Whenever.
I know that to be a fact. So how do you motivate yourself? You are a mother, you are a wife, you have a fur baby, right? So like how how do you motivate yourself to keep going? Because someone be like, oh, she's a regional director. She don't need to be doing the Tonya Bolden-Ball collective. Like, we don't need this. Like, I've reached what I'm supposed to do. So how do you keep going? How do you stay motivated?
You know, I'm at the point where, you know, I like my job a lot, but at the end of the day, there's going to come a point in time where I want to be the director of and dictate how my direct deposits flow.
Ooh,
Because
write that down.
I've been in situations, Ash, where I've been without a job for over a year. Two times that's happened in my life. I call those periods vacation without pay.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? I'm so sick of people, whether it's someone who doesn't look like me, telling me it's a power struggle, someone being intimidated. So it took those two lessons to really flip the switch and say, start working on your own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Start working on it. That's not for everyone, but I realize I have so much in me that can't be contained by 9 to 5, excuse me. But also, I want to dictate how that goes. Like God's already put it in me.
Mm-hmm.
Back to what I was saying about wasting time. I wasted a lot of time with that. Then I finally woke up and said, you know what? God can snatch this away from me. Why am I playing?
Now that is something to motivate that tail. What?
Why am I playing? You know, yes, I'm right here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Y'all, it'd be like, it'd be hot for Christmas, for real. But Mississippi born, Louisiana raised, I'm in a season of why not? And I'm trusting and trying God literally at the same time. I'm just as good as someone in LA, New York, Dallas, Atlanta. I'm just as good. So why not? I could get on the same airplane just like them, sit in the same seat. So you know what? I travel. So when y'all invite me to come, California is on my list to speak. That's on, like I have a list of places I want to. Cali, like I'm going to get an invite from somebody in Cali to come speak. I'm telling you. Come on, Ash, let's go and do that. But anyway,
let's
but
do
yeah.
it. Truth be told, and I want to produce a TED Talk. So I can see you, I see V, I see me, point blank period. I see us on a stage on a TED weekend, like a whole thing. I see it. But anyway,
But wait, before you continue, because you're about to have me shouting, my TED Talk is going to be about the power of the hello and what it can do for a person. It can shift a person from despair to hope, from fear to faith. Like I already, so for you to just say that, I'm like, how she know I wanted to do TED Talk? But anyway,
yeah,
I digress.
the whole TED weekend, it's coming. I feel it. It's bubbling up in my spirit.
Let's get it.
Okay, so you are an entrepreneur, but you also are regional director of diversity and inclusion.
Yes.
Right. And so if I was someone looking to obtain that role, what advice would you give me to be someone to sit in your seat? Because that wasn't your plan, right? When you had gone to college.
At all. I as a matter of fact, I knew this is where God wanted me to be because it just came. I was dealing with the aftermath of the hurricane tree on my home, falling on my home. And I said, I'm gonna just apply for this job. I had talked to like 3 trusted people in my circle, and one of them had already prophesied, so to speak, a year before, you should work in diversity and inclusion. You've been doing it all your life. It wasn't called D&I. But my advice I would give to you is you better make sure you want to get in this space, because D&I is not for the faint at heart. D&I, you have to advocate, and it's a space where people will get very uncomfortable. Diversity, equity, and inclusion will create opportunities in spaces where it'll bring some truth that not everyone's ready to address.
Right.
And that's a huge thing. But also, what I love about D&I is being able to put things and people in the forefront that was often overlooked. And I think that's been part of who I am as a person, being a mom at the age of 18, being counted out, being a stereotype. And now I'm in a space where I'm advocating for those who, you know, being considered underserved and overlooked. So that's the part But again, D&I is not for the faint at heart. So, data has a lot to do with it, but you got to be able to have some thick skin and want to do this.
Mm, that's good. Yeah, I don't know that that's my lane.
Child, some days I wake and I'm like, what did I get myself into? But I've made my first year. So I
Congrats.
survived. I'm still
Con
here.
Congratulations. And you just introduced your inaugural group with your collective. So I would love for you to share with us a little bit more about that. Where did that come from, and what is your goal?
So last year, during the pandemic, I went through a dry season, Nash, trying to figure out, and TD Jakes talked about this a few weeks ago. It was a Wednesday, his Bible study session, the wilderness. Like when the pandemic came, I really got into a space of wilderness, trying to figure out the next.
Yeah.
Yes, I was getting all these. So we're talking about imposter syndrome, getting awards, doing this, doing that. But I still was not really grasping my total purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And I had been having a business since 2010, but I wasn't cultivating it. It was just, it really was on the shelf. And last year, I kid you not, and I say this all the time, God literally just flipped the switch.
Mm-hmm.
The light bulb went off, and I said, I'm about to go through a rebranding. And I started looking at, okay, Tonya, what is it that you do? Your gifts and talents, what do you enjoy? Love public speaking. Mm-hmm. Love the motivational speaking. And for me, it's a ministry. It really is.
Mm-hmm. And you're amazing at it.
Love getting together with people and helping them connect the dots, the consulting, and then the life coaching. Mm-hmm. I was like, you know what? I'm going to bring all that together. I'm not really jack of all trades, but those are the three things that I know, yeah. I do well and I enjoy doing. So I said, okay, the collective. So went through a rebranding process, called it the TBB Collective. And for years from that, I was like, okay, now it's time for me to do what I've been dreaming about for years. I wanted to create a space for women to come together and learn about leadership. Mm-hmm. Not for so much for them to get in the boardrooms professional, and that's fine, and I'm tapping into that, but just, professionally and personally. I was like, I'm going to launch my own leadership academy. Mm-hmm. Don't know how, had the vision before the budget. Mm-hmm. Still don't even have a budget, but look, any of y'all on here want to sew into the TBB Collective, just let me know. But anyway.
Drop the cash out.
I'm not ever afraid to shoot my shot for my purpose, okay? But I was like, I'm going to launch this. And I literally pulled from everything, my professional career. I've been blessed, Ash, to participate in national, state, and local leadership programs where either I was a fellow cohort member. But what I realized, oftentimes, I was one of few people of color in these programs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I said in my video a couple of weeks ago, leadership for someone that looked like me is different.
Yes.
It's a different walk, There's certain things I can't say in a meeting without being chastised, but I'm over that too. I'm like, whatever. Now, some days anybody can get it. Like Felicia said, get this dance. It just depends.
Yeah.
But just bring it together, and I launched it, and I selected 8 women. I called them the Great 8. This past Sunday, we did our orientation, and I'm like, okay, God, I don't even know what kind of budget I have, but it's all coming together. So I shared that, and thank you so much for asking, because we get so caught up in putting all the pieces together and realizing the dream is remaining a dream and not be vision and not reality. So
for sure. And I think you said that your definition of success was starting, not
trying.
To try.
Trying.
So you showing up is 95% of it, because God is going to take you to the finish line.
Yes. And I can see
finish line. I love it, Tonya. Okay. So I could talk to you all day about all of the things, but I
got time. What we got?
Well, we have a few more minutes before Charlene starts belling out. So I want to know. I want to know from you.
Wait, somebody called me the legend, Bree. I'm so over it.
Yeah,
I see it at the bottom.
I had
I'm
to
here
pin it
for it.
because you are a legend. Um, okay. So you said the hello. You said um making connections and networking at the table once you're at the table. So how important is it? How important is your circle? And then how important is um like as you're building out your team, who are some key players that you think you need to have?
Phew. It's wow. I don't know where you begin these questions from, but listen, I know a lot of people, and a lot of people know me, but they don't know me.
Mhm.
Like I have a trusted circle where I never forget. This was a couple of years ago. No, it was, yeah, a couple of years ago, right when the pandemic had started. I was having a moment. Like I literally just broke down, and I called a couple of my friends. Two of them were pastors, and it just so happens they were together. And I just started crying. I literally had a moment where I became that Coke can that was shaking, and somebody flipped the lid.
Mm.
And so my space is important because when I get an idea, I need to talk it out.
Mhm.
I'll write it down, but I can't do that with everyone. Like the collective, even from logo designs and just framework, I would text a couple of my friends, give me your feedback. Like my sister, that's my ace. And then I have a couple of other people, like my bestie, Anitra, and then there's she's like my little sister. She's like a mini version of me, Carlena, and several others that I call my collective, my circle space. And I have women and I'm surrounded by, they'll take that lick from me.
Mhm.
You know, it's good to have people in your circle. They'll tell you, you know what, don't worry about it. I got it.
Mhm.
I got it. Because sometimes you need to have those people that recognize, you know what, you have a seat. Let me take care of this.
Yeah.
It's good to have people in your circle where when you can just text them, say, I need for you to pray for me.
Yeah.
I need to talk some things through. I just need for you to listen. I don't want a response. I need to get some things off my chest. It's not going to be grammatically correct. It may have a couple of choice words. Look, God's still working on it. Let me just say it, okay?
He
But
said on all of us, yet and still,
that space is important for me
for sure.
because I know, Ash, and I've talked to you about this. I'm in a season of a shift to a next. And let me tell you, my circle has changed over the years. There's some people I had to, you can go to that back row because not everybody, and it's good to always analyze who's sitting on your front row because everybody sitting on your front row may not be applauding you. There are people sitting on your front row right now that's waiting for you to fail. And
They're
that's why
just
you got to be
ready.
careful. We use the word sis and friend very loosely. And, my daughter said, you got fans. That's fine, whatever. But not everybody's that calls me their sister. I consider them to be my sister.
Right. Absolutely.
And I'm okay with that.
No, that's good. And I was actually going to ask you a question that is sort of similar to that. So, right, you said on your journey, there are people who might have been sitting in the front row, and then you had to, ask them to go stage left or right to the back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you also said earlier that once you build your table, not everyone gets a seat at that table. And
Nope.
so there are people in our lives who we've known since we were kids or that you were really close with maybe in college, but then life happened, right? How do you, or do you even explain to them that they have been voted off the island, so to speak, or that they're being shifted to another area in your life?
So this is where I would say disclaimer, God is still working on me. I don't even give them an explanation. I don't. I don't. I am good at I'll cut a person off and you know what? It is what it is.
Yeah,
I could, I'm at the age where I've mastered telling people to go to hell and they look forward to the trip. Again, God's still working on me. He's
understood.
still working on me. But I'm at the point I don't I'm not explaining. I don't even unfriend or block. I just stop. Like I move on. Move
Yeah,
on.
I feel you on the moving on, especially when someone has done. wrong, right? Like for me, in those instances, I'm just like, well, like God bless you, and I wish you the best, but I'm gonna keep on keeping on, right? But for those
Yeah.
people who didn't do anything to you, but they just don't really fit anymore, I feel like sometimes in that instance, I feel like I want to give them an explanation, but I don't really have one. And so I just feel like, this is weird. I don't want to pick up the phone, or I don't really want to hang out for that long or at all, right? Like, because I
Oh,
don't
I'm
see.
just tired of you. Like, but here's the, let's just be real. And I know we're about to be through because of Anthony Hamilton and Music Soul Child. We almost need a part two. But sometimes,
We will have a
Ash,
part two.
we hold on to things that we need to let go. And that
Mm,
includes family members, that includes people who were one-time besties, co-workers, all of the above. There's a season for everything and everyone. And you and I both know that's not a famous quote. That's a word. That's the word. There's a season for everything. And until we start recognizing the importance of, we don't decide how long the season is for
mm,
that person.
mm-hmm.
Time decides, situations decide.
That's
And
it.
when you give yourself and free yourself mentally of, well, I'm still trying to keep this person in the season when they should have been exit out, and then start thinking about why aren't things going the way they're supposed to? Because you got people in your season, you trying to get first class, but you got people with coach mindsets. You're not ready for first class because you're still rolling with people with, look, there's nothing wrong with coach because I fly coach. So let me say that. Don't come for me about that statement. But I'm talking about mindsets.
For sure.
You want first class mindset, but you still got people carrying duffel bags. You want the top of the line luggage, but they carrying their stuff in Walmart grocery bags. Don't get me on Walmart grocery bags because they line my trash cans all over this house. So I'm good
Right
with it.
now. Right now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so much for going green. But this season,
No, that's real. That's so real. And I do think that a part two is necessary, and we will arrange that. But Tonya, as you know, I am the amateur expert, and I claim to know a little bit about a lot. And so I wish you would please take this time to share with me a random fact, a tidbit of information, just something completely random that I can say Tonya taught me. It doesn't have to be a personal fact about you. Just like, hey, did you know that a banana is a berry? Did you know that? It's a true fact. But like just something random. It could be DEI related. It could be anything.
did you know that it's okay that if you fall, you still have the opportunity to get up?
Amen.
Period.
Amen.
That is so loaded, but you still have the opportunity. If you made a mistake on Monday, Tuesday will present itself as a new opportunity.
Amen.
If you got things jacked up on Tuesday, there's always Wednesday and Thursday. If you still don't see your success, there's still Saturday. And if you still didn't get it then, Sunday, where everything new, the beginning, you still have the opportunity. Every time you have the opportunity to be greeted by the sun or the mist of the rain, it's your opportunity to get it right. Take advantage of it.
Drops mic.
We dropping
Period.
mics. Period.
Period. This is my sister, my friend, Tonya Bolden-Ball. I love you so much. I want to give you an opportunity to let people know where they can find out more about you. How can they support
Oh my goodness.
you?
Somebody says Q's we. Oh, Carlina's on the call. Girl, goodbye. She said that Q's Donna McClaren, we fall down. You can catch me at TBB Collective. Visit my website, TonyaBBall.com, on IG, Tonya B Ball, Facebook. I'm everywhere. So I would love to chat it up. If you need that coaching, that speaker, that consultant, hit me up. You can go to my inquiry page on my website. Y'all start building your own stuff. Yes.
That is
Love
it.
you, Ash.
Love you. We will see you again soon. Everyone enjoy the verses. I am team music. Who you got?
Well, so music, Soul Child, I love dearly because that's my husband. Love is my husband and I. That's the song we danced at for our
Oh,
wedding. We did our first dance on Love, and it will be We've been dating for 21 years. So December of this year, we will have been married for 20 years. So, but I love me some Anthony. Look, Anthony's somebody to see in person. This dude can put on a show like nobody business. I'm about to
Really?
take the hat off because I'm about to faint because I'm hot, and I'm about to get ready for Anthony. Yeah, me and my charcuterie board and a bottle of whatever.
I love it. Cheers to you. We will see you again soon. We will see you next week. Have a good week, y'all. Enjoy the
Bye,
verses.
y'all.
Peace.